Good morning, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be here today. I'm Shelley B, State Senator for the 37th Senate District, and I'm thrilled to be here today with so many of my colleagues from LMC TV and elected officials from Mamaroneck, the Town of Mamaroneck, the Village of Mamaroneck, and the Village of Larchmont to present LMC Media with the Empire Award for Exemplary Service to the community during the COVID pandemic. So first, I want to acknowledge so many of my colleagues who have been my partners working through this pandemic. Nancy Seligson, the supervisor of the Town of Mamaroneck, a long-standing friend and a fantastic partner. Jane Elkine-Eny, the deputy town supervisor. Sabrina Fiddleman from the Mamaroneck Town Council. Bubba Finelli from the Larchmont Village Board. Did I miss anybody in the elected group? No, I'm good. And then you're going to introduce the staff, and I appreciate that. So I just want to say that when I first had the honor of being elected as a senator, I came across this unbelievable asset of LMC Media. And as someone who is a believer in public access and all that you can do, LMC Media really sets a standard above what I have ever seen or heard of in terms of public service to a community in the most inclusive way. But then they ran into COVID. And during COVID, so many institutions stepped up and did more than could be expected, and LMC Media was one of them. As a result of what they did, we are acknowledging them today with this Empire Award. So I want to go through some of the specifics of what they did that really just deserves recognition and makes it so important that we highlight the work of your staff and all that work with you, Matt, in making this happen. One, they continued to stream live local government meetings and provided additional platforms for the community to ask questions and receive clarification. You may remember the beginning of this. This was a time of great uncertainty. Every day the governor had this press conference. Every day we had new rules. Nobody really knew exactly what was coming next. The town boards and the village boards all were dealing with the changes, and LMC was a opportunity for the people in this community to see and witness their government firsthand. You supported local businesses by airing their marketing videos. I remember that distinctly. You helped our school districts, and as chair of the Education Committee, I care deeply about that. You had updates from superintendents and interactive Zoom meetings. You hosted physical education talks with teachers, explaining workout programs for students at home. And this is such a trying time for students particularly. Created a congratulatory video for graduating Mamaroneck High School seniors and many other contributions to the Mamaroneck school community. You worked with the Town of Mamaroneck to provide home exercises for seniors who all of a sudden lost their senior congregations of congregate settings to do things together. Work with the librarians to increase awareness of online services, and with the faith community to provide an Easter sunrise service in Manor Park. We lost so many of our faith opportunities to worship together, and that was so important. I totally appreciate it. But more than that, on the ground, helping people in Larchmont, Mamaroneck, and the village and the town to see what was going on in their community firsthand, to feel part of it and feel connected, and not to lose that incredible sense of connectedness that you have really just excelled. And Matt knows I've spoken from the heart. I really think they should take LMC and make it the national model. And with a new U.S. Senate, not being partisan, and a new president, we are going to use this model of how public access should work, in my opinion. And this is the standard that every community should be so fortunate. But during COVID, your work was exceptional. You deserve recognition. And today I'm going to present the award. Before that, I'd like to turn it over to my friend and colleague, the town supervisor of the Town of Mamaroneck, Nancy Seligson.
Thank you, Senator Mayer. We're so happy to have this opportunity to celebrate LMC TV. Oh, LMC Media. The name change still trips up the tongue because LMC really did step up during this pandemic. When the news came down about the pandemic and we recognized that we could no longer meet in person, we had to switch to Zoom formats. That had never been done before for local government meetings. And we turned immediately to LMC to ask them how to do this. And they are the ones who taught us how to do it. And they continue to support us by facilitating our Zoom meetings. It's not that easy to do. And some of us are more technically challenged than others. But we have very smoothly transferred from in-person meetings to Zoom meetings, where it is open to the public, of course. It is able to be viewed in multiple formats, and we have interactive meetings for our public hearings and citizen comments, so that we are really, we really feel supported. And they really came through for us during the pandemic. I don't think we could have done it without them. So I really appreciate their community and civic spirit that helped us, and their incredible technological abilities on the ground. So thank you to LMC, well deserved, and thank you to Senator Mayer for celebrating them right here in the town of Mamaroneck. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'd like to present this to Matt Sullivan on behalf of the New York State Senate, and also get his opportunity to speak and to introduce his staff. And thank you to all of them for, I know, working with me and all of our elected officials to make sure that there is really communication, which is extraordinary during this tough time. So, Matt, this is the New York State Senate 2020 Empire Award honoring LMC Media in recognition of outstanding contribution and dedication to the growth, prosperity, and betterment of the community in New York State, presented today.
Thank you so much, Senator.
Get out of your way there.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Senator Mayer. This is an incredible honor. Thank you to our elected officials. Nancy, thank you so much for the nice words. It really takes an army to make all of this happen, and that comes down to the wonderful community and the representation and support base that we have between elected officials, local government, and of course our wonderful staff. I want to first congratulate you on your reelection, and we're happy to have you again serving with us. We're lucky, very lucky to have you, and I look forward to continuing this wonderful working relationship that we have. At the start of the pandemic, as the Senator had mentioned, LMC was quick to transition its internal and external communications to an all-digital, easily accessible platform. Before Zoom became a household name, we were holding daily staff meetings, working with local governments to ensure that important information could continue being disseminated to local officials and residents alike. We continued these efforts, offering our support to struggling businesses, working with our school districts, and serving as a community partner with local groups such as the Larchmont Mamaroneck Lions Club and the Larchmont Mamaroneck Local Summit. While we learned how to live collectively in this new world, we never lost touch. That's the backbone of what we do, helping people stay connected. And in the midst of our most recent election, a common theme has been discussed, is bridging the divide. Because without communication, how can we come together and move forward on the path to change? It's become crystal clear that our new world requires new approaches, and to that end, LMC Media is devoted to serving as a communication hub in our local community and beyond. While we're forced to readdress our own operations, the mission of connection will forever remain. In our digital world, I think it's safe to say that our community is in an advantageous position because of the unique resource it possesses. I've said many times that LMC Media is not the norm, it's the exception. And as we celebrate this great honor today, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the very people behind these incredible efforts. To my left, Assistant Director Dina Schumacher. Varsity Sports Producer Rob Moretti. Office and Bulletin Board Manager Sharon Latimer-Mosley. Programmer Stefan Aloisa. And our Head of Fundraising, Catherine Lapone. I also want to thank our studio tech, Sean Kelly, and the man behind the camera on this event, and so many, Stephen Bissayan. Thank you, Stephen. And I want to thank our board member, Mike Witch, who's also joining us as well. And thank you to every one of you here today. I also want to thank the Tri-Municipal Board of Control, our entire LMC Media Board of Directors, and of course all of our amazing volunteers who are really the lifeblood of our organization. Now, like many organizations, LMC Media faces challenging in our funding structure. The traditional funding that stems from cable subscriber fees hangs in the balance as residents cut the cord and move away from traditional cable. As a 501c3 nonprofit organization, LMC relies on generous supporters in our community and beyond. Our most recent e-gala, held on October 20th, honoring U.S. Representative Nita Lowey, raised over $50,000. Now, this was the largest effort in the organization's 37-year history, and I want to thank everyone who made that possible, and of course, all of our donors that evening. I'm happy to note also that our fundraising efforts will continue in 2021 as we work with our head of fundraising, Catherine Lapone, who's also joining us. I always refer to LMC having an open door policy. However, the pandemic has made this a digital open door. Our staff will continue to work for the residents of Larchmont Mamaroneck and the Sound Shore community, and I invite anyone interested in hearing more information to visit us on the web at lmcmedia.org, and you can also email us at info@lmcmedia.org. On behalf of our grateful organization, thank you, Senator Mayer, and thank you, Larchmont Mamaroneck, for helping us continue to build community through media.
Thank you so much. Well, it really is, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to honor you for your work. And I am hopeful that we take this opportunity to build fundraising, because we have to keep this going. And you've identified a problem that I do think we have. And as someone who's very worried about the digital divide in our education community, we know that we need to address this need for education and communication to be shared more broadly. So thank you for bringing that point. Thank you today. Congratulations. Now we go back to work. That's all we do. And thank you to my colleagues here who are such great partners and supporters of LMC Media as well, and really to your foresighted thinking about having them as partners. Maybe you could spread the word. I always say that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.